Good morning. Welcome to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Whether you are an entrepreneur who's established or a small business owner just getting started, each week we have the goal of providing you with information and inspiration to start and grow your own business. We visit with experts, have resource providers, solid practical information to help you on your business journey. Our categories for success remain the same each week: getting started, gaining access to capital, to cash. This week in business, accounting and bookkeeping, running your business day to day. We focus on an industry and wrap it up with a success story. We have a new show every Sunday on Wish TV. We stream it live on wishtv.com as well, if that's convenient. And we post each of our 7 weekly segments and past stories and other resources on our website. It's beoshow.com. You can also now find full episodes from more than 150 weeks on our YouTube channel. It's at The BEO Show. You can also there find a complete list of all of our social media channels. You'll see a QR code popping up through the show. It'll take you straight to our website. While you're there, you'll link to the YouTube page. And please subscribe to that and our weekly newsletter as well. Lots of resources all for you. Here's what's ahead this hour on Business Equity and Opportunity. Meet a small business making a big impression at the Vinyl Revival at this year's Indiana State Fair. Intellectual property protection through assignments, what that means to your business. An accounting and bookkeeping lesson from the State Fair. ARAI is the latest Indiana business to ring the opening bell at the NASDAQ. See how the company got there. Last weekend was an empowering one for women business owners who attended the Speed City All-Stars Women's Business Leadership and Innovation Experience. The event kicked off with a panel of local women business owners who had just completed an extensive 6-week J.P. Morgan Chase Coaching for Impact program. Here are some of the highlights that happened during the panel.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Ransom. Our company is Yellow Hat Consulting, and we provide professional learning services to schools and ed organizations. We've recently expanded our services to business owners.
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Odekomaya, and I have a creative marketing agency and a content studio in Castleton. I'm also, probably most people know me as the Boss Ladies. So I produce the Boss Ladies magazine as well. In my company, we do content marketing. So helping businesses create content, tell the story so that they can get the visibility as well as capture their ideal clients.
Hey everybody, I'm Maxine. I'm the founder and CEO of Good. It's the first Indian-inspired sparkling lemonade and limeade. It's based on a drink known for centuries in India called Nimbu Pani, which translates to lemon water, also known as India lemonade, but it's also based on my grandmother's recipe, who used to make it with 40 plus grams of sugar. So I put my modern better for you twist on it, so it's only 50 calories in the entire can.
Hi, I'm Bailey Rayford, and I'm the owner of Kendall Logan Logistics. We are a full-service third-party logistics firm. We do kitting, fulfillment, e-commerce, social media support. Also, for even people who are trying to get their content out, we've been supporting individuals that way. We help a business with a product, and now with just a voice, how to meet their clientele, how to earn the market.
What did you personally get out of it that you didn't think you would?
So for me, at the time, I've been hearing a lot about having a relationship with your bank app. And we all know Chase is not a small bank. I mean, they're a pretty big bank. So for me, it was like to have a person in a big bank that could walk with me and talk to me like as a human. That was so big for me.
Another thing is you have to be open to feedback, negative, positive. Like, I was ready to listen, because sometimes I want my way. And so if Shelly had an idea, I was open to it. And so really having that support of walking with me, encouraging me, making those connections where I had a YouTube, I think that was really great for us.
Shelly made it where I didn't have to apologize for not knowing what I didn't know. So my grandmother always would say, I'm not mad at you because you don't know what you don't know because you haven't experienced it yet, but I'm mad at you because you don't know what you should know.
How do you see being part of this now is going to go forward as far as mentoring and networking?
I believe the missing piece when it comes to being a business owner, especially a woman and a woman of color, is we do not network. Network to me is just a part of getting up every day and going and doing the job. It's a part of the job. It's to build a network. And I think the celebrating of each other. We don't know what each other do. I think when Maxine walked in the door this morning, I was quick to say, congratulations on your new success, on what she's doing. I hope that's letting you know that I see you. I walk in a very lonely place. Every business that I own is white male dominant. So you don't just see a woman at the table. So you darn sure you'll find a Black woman at the table. But I can say women in this room have helped me and coach me through meetings, talk to me all the way to a meeting. Just listen to this, tell me when I'm going wrong. So I would advise, and I would hope for many of us, is we build the network and don't shy away from. If you're invited to the meeting and you don't know anybody, go to the meeting. Or use our LinkedIn to figure out who knows. You're going to find somebody. India is a small, big town. That's the way I think would support us, and that's what's been a tremendous support for me.
Just keep that on.
Yeah, I think it's been a safe space. Shelly has cultivated an environment where I can reach out and I feel comfortable even if I don't know something. You know, that women supporting other women, that is a big part of what our mission is at the end. So I just think that everybody can win. There's a space for everybody, so I want people to know that.
I think for me, it would be to encourage us all to tell our stories. Because as women of color, of every shade, whatever it is, I think that because we're so siloed in our businesses, we think we're the only ones going through it. But when you stop to listen to what others are going through, you're like, what? Wait, you too? And that in itself is so empowering and liberating at the same time. To know that I'm not the only one. And I think that that's why I'm also very passionate about just telling the stories, because you never know what people are going through and how what they're going through is going to, inspire you. Plus also, you listening sometimes is what they need. Just being that listening ear, so as we network with each other, I just want to encourage us to continue to listen and ask for those stories that hopefully would inspire us all.
I think I totally agree with everyone, but I also think that we need to challenge ourselves to not only network, but to seek out partnerships, right? So yes, I know you do this, and yes, I know you do that, but not being afraid to take risks and give each other business. I know, like Bailey said, if I know you do flowers, well, let me give you an opportunity. You will be the first one in my network that I seek out for that opportunity. I also think, and I shared this with my friends, I had heard someone else say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, bring someone with you. So we need to be open to partnerships, right? Bringing other people on your team and being okay with partnering when other venture opportunities come along.
Next, we talk to the chairman of the latest Indiana company to go public through the NASDAQ. It is an access to capital success story. Welcome again. Publicly traded company is a milestone achievement for any businesses that boom. And the latest Indiana company to achieve the feat is ARAI, an autonomous delivery network headquartered in Indianapolis. Last month, company leaders and excited shareholders traveled to New York together to ring the opening bell of the NASDAQ in celebration. Dan O'Toole is the chairman of the board. He shared with us details on the new milestone moments and the company's new global partnership.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
I'm Dan O'Toole. I'm the CEO at ARAI. We're based here in Fishers, Indiana. It started as a dream back in 2014. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I had this huge idea that was going to be quite massive to roll out, and I started working on it. And it started with my foundational patent that I was awarded in 2017, beat Amazon by 4 days, the Postal Service by 2 weeks, others by less than a month. And I just executed on that, built a team, got investment for the last several years, and today we're public on the NASDAQ. That's not the end of the dream though, that's just really the beginning. That's where we start. To do what we're doing is a big lift. We're changing infrastructure and last mile logistics, forever. So we've crowdfunded for the last 4 years, and we raised $12 million during that period, but we could never really get ahead of our burn rate. So to do something substantial, we needed to get access to the public capital markets. The NASDAQ reached out to us about 3 years ago and said, hey, we love what you guys are doing. We're always looking for the next big thing. We think this could be it. So when you go public, we hope you'll pick the NASDAQ. And they took this cool photo of a message that they put up on the NASDAQ tower in Times Square, kind of announcing our company. We're really proud of that. So over the last 4 years, we had opportunities to go public with other publicly traded companies. And they always said, hey, which exchange do you want to trade on? I said the NASDAQ, because they showed this picture of us. And I was very loyal to that. So for one reason or another, those deals didn't culminate. But when the last one didn't happen, I said, you know what, we're going to go it alone. We're going to control our own destiny. So we teed up our own listing on NASDAQ. We didn't, hook up with anybody else. We did it ourselves. I'm really proud of that. And on May 15th, we were able to go public and start trading. We rang the bell on July 3rd. Those two things didn't quite synchronize because I always had this romantic idea of ringing the bell the first day we traded. But there's a big long line to ring the bell, usually about 4 months. And I didn't want to hold off on trading because we'd worked so hard to get there. So I said, you know what, we're going to trade the first day we can, and we're going to get in line immediately. Maybe there'll be a cancellation date. We can jump in quickly, and that's what happened. So July 3rd, we were able to go out and ring the bell in New York on our stock that started trading May 15th. Yeah, what's happening, going public is a big spotlight, right? Adds credibility. The whole world knows, just in Indiana, there's only 39 publicly traded companies based here in Indiana, and we're proud to say we're the 39th. But that just opens up so many doors. It adds credibility. People want to work with companies that have that kind of credibility and market prowess, and we're proud of that. And so we've announced a partnership with Sky Air in India. We've announced stateside partnerships as well. Our engagement is up, thousands of percentages since being pre-public. So it's a great way to go. I'm really proud of what we've done, how we've gotten here, and how we're executing on that. Yeah, if you put $1 into this company, it's your company. You're a co-owner with me, and we treat you that way, and we're very proud of that. I think I was mentioning, we just rang the bell in New York. We had nearly 400 people out there. One of the largest showings of a bell ringing ever. In fact, the NASDAQ could barely accommodate us. So I'm lucky we didn't have 401 people. Somebody would have been outside looking in. But, so I think I mentioned the culture we've built here is one of ownership, and everybody feels like you're part of the team. I take calls, I put my phone number out that I've had for 35 years. We have 5,000 shareholders going pre-public, and many of them are in my Rolodex, and I talk to them regularly. But in a lot of cases, people spent more money to come out to New York and to ring the bell with us than they actually invested in the company. And I think that is awesome. I think that demonstrates everything we know and believe. It shows how people feel really engaged in what we're doing. And you can't put a price on that. You just can't duplicate that. Yeah, everyone's life has changed if you're with this company or investing or partnering. It's changing very rapidly, and it's really amazing. The thing I would say about that is Sky Air, when they came to us, the most astonishing thing that they said that validated everything I believe since 2014 is they said Arrive is the most important part of the last mile delivery ecosystem. It's not us as a drone company. It's not a robot company. Those are all kind of commodities. But this little piece of real estate where every delivery starts and ends with great connectivity, leveraging AI and big data, that's us. The ecosystem really needs that. We feel like we're unlocking the 100% of all the savings and efficiency that's happening in the last mile through autonomy because we're in that ecosystem. I'm from Indiana. I grew up here. I love Indiana values. I want to do something meaningful here in the Midwest. As we went to raise capital over the last several years, obviously the coasts are where the action is. But, you know, don't discount Indiana or the heartland. You know, one of the things I was always really proud of is this great team that we put together. You know, I felt like we were kind of thrown into the deep end of the pool, dealing with Wall Street, lawyers, accountants, the investment bankers, all that. And we always held our own. I was always proud of that. I always came out of every meeting saying, hey guys, great job. I have a phenomenal team. I couldn't have done it by myself. Give all my credit to my team. It's like the biggest homework assignment you've ever done times 1,000, and we did it. We're here today, and I'm still pinching myself every day, Peggy. You know, it's all these validating calls, outreach from all over the world. You know, 11 years ago, when I had the idea, I was reaching out to people, sharing it, and people thought I was crazy. But I came up with this mantra: if you have a futuristic idea and people don't think you're crazy, you're too late. So I believed in what we're doing. I believe that the notion of all this autonomous delivery, whether you're shipping something and starting on the ground or delivering something to the ground, is a non-starter. No wholesale autonomous delivery will happen at scale without a secure access point in that ecosystem, and that's us, ARAI.
Last month, ARAI announced plans to triple its workforce by adding 40 new team members, direct result of aggressive global expansion. We have information on how you can contact the company on our website. Follow the QR code to get there right now. Also, check out our extended conversation with Dan O'Toole. It's part of this week's Business Equity and Opportunities podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Coming up next this hour, if you want to keep track of how publicly traded companies like ARAI are doing, you can find real-time stock information on our new Business Equity and Opportunity stock ticker. Look for it at the top of our landing page. Ahead, we meet two local artists invited to be part of the new Vinyl Revival traveling exhibit at the Indiana State Fair. That's next when Business Equity and Opportunities return.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Time to talk this week in business, specifically from the Indiana State Fair, and the story of two talented artists who were asked to collaborate in the creation of a massive new multimedia experience. It became the Chromatic Collective.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Hi, my name is Rafael, Caro. My business is Chromatic Collective. I've been painting murals since 2011.
And my name is Erica Parker. I also run Chromatic Collective, and 2016 is the year that we brought it together.
The business provides hand-painted murals, signs, even digital illustrations, so we do a vast variety of creative projects.
Yeah, I would say we're like almost a creative production kind of crew, whether it's like organizing live mural events, doing illustrative work or murals. It's a mixed bag, really, of the projects that we handle.
Yeah, so we opened up a shop in Broad Ripple in 2020. We lasted about 3 years, but during that 3 years we hosted many art shows, a lot of public meetups such as figure drawing, we did poetry night, and so a lot of cool stuff happened there.
Okay, so running the art shop was great, like having the gallery, because we were able to bring everybody up. So our theory was like their success is also our success. Which I think kind of shifted the climate a little bit for Indianapolis in a positive way. You saw people taking more risks, doing more experiments, kind of trying to push the boundaries and bring the art scene forward.
So this is a really cool exhibit. Everything's hand painted. It's all album covers throughout the decades. And so we were invited to contribute to it. And this is a traveling show. So in each place they go, they do invite a local artist, which is really cool that we get to add to the collection.
Yeah, in our world, being included in a show with these airbrush artists is like top tier. I mean, it is huge, not only for ourselves, where we can see this kind of work up close, but also be inspired by it. Because every time you see a new piece of artwork, no matter how long you've been in the art industry, you're gonna learn something new. So that's been really great.
We are a spectacle, and we are painting in front of people. And that is what people love to do. So when they're coming, walking around, they'll come stop, they'll talk to us, they'll ask us about the process. I'll fill them in, I'll say, oh, I'm doing the background first, I'm doing the figure next. And so it's really cool that people get to learn just by coming up and talking to us. So, yeah.
A lot of people think that artists are magicians, like, oh, snap your finger, there it is, a finished canvas. But with this experience, people can really see how much work goes into creating a finished piece. It's a lot of process, it's a lot of patience. So I think that for me has been really cool to kind of show people what it's like to work.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of lessons, and it all starts with communication. So being able to talk to people, having business cards. I always keep business cards in my pocket. So I meet someone, they say, oh, what do you do? I give them the card, and 9 times out of 10 we'll hear from them in the future. So it's really interesting that we can function that way, not just in person, but also online. Social media helps. Posting, showing people our work, even the process, it really snowballs and gets people excited to even contact us. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say an online presence is important of some degree, even if it's not the prettiest looking thing, at least it's out there. I mean, that's what got us scouted for this job, you know, just to give you an idea, like at least like take that first step and put it out there. But I would say if you're going into the arts, it's never a linear path. It goes all different directions, and you just have to have like the grit and the passion to kind of tough it out and, you know, pick yourself back up in the face of like rejection, because that'll happen at any time. So if you can persevere through that, like you're good.
Yeah, not all projects are the same. Sometimes a small project will lead into a big project. So it's really fun that we never know what's going to be in front of us in the future. So we're always working towards the next big thing. We started off doing smaller things for other small businesses like barbershops and restaurants, and we've gotten to the point where we've been able to do some community engaged public artwork. We painted a mural under the underpass, I-65, and that required a lot of pre-planning, pre-production, where we met with the neighbors, we talked to them, discussed ideas, and then we even had volunteer days where they would come and paint. So there's a lot of things that we've learned and been able to be exposed to throughout the years.
There's one thing I do have to emphasize too for anyone who wants to be an artist, like the opportunity is not going to look for you. You have to look for the opportunity. So for us, like when we started in 2016, it was as simple as me just asking a landlord with a dirty wall in the back of his building, like, hey, can I paint this? Like, I'm really trying to get a start as a muralist. Like, just pay me for supplies and trust me, I can do this thing. And that's how it starts, like with the ask. Like, so not being afraid to ask or talk about what you do, because you just never know what kind of connection you're gonna make through that. So we now have our home studio, so like being able to be at my house and have like my playroom basically right next door is great. I mean, I get to work from home, I get to garden and paint and spend time with my animals and my family. It's really like, it's not the glamorous life, but it's a really happy life for me, so.
And for me, it's a mix. Exploring new mediums, exploring new styles. I always like to evolve. I don't like to stay in the same genre, but also seeing people's excitement about the work and seeing even kids being inspired, because I was a kid inspired by artists. And so that's really rewarding, and it kind of brings me back. When I'm feeling low, that always brings me back, yeah.
The vinyl revival at this year's Indiana State Fair includes the Art of Music exhibit connecting music and the visual art of album covers. You can check out other local artists as well, like Andre Parnell, creating works of art live daily from 9 in the morning to 9 in the evening in the Harvest Pavilion. Coming up next this hour, some homegrown accounting and bookkeeping tips.
This Week in Business is made possible by Indy Biz Pass. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome again. Indiana State Fair is a perfect example for small business owners who take their products on location. It can be a great way to connect to customers and create new ones. If you want to turn that then into a profit, you'll need to know how to handle accounting and bookkeeping.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Hi, Hi, my name is Angela Grant. I work for the Indiana Grown program. We are here in the Mercantile building at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. We are in the front of the building at the Indiana Grown Marketplace. So the Indiana Grown program, we represent over 1,500 businesses within the state of Indiana. So we have over 110 small businesses represented inside of the marketplace behind me. So all those small businesses participate in this marketplace that we offer. We are always trying to promote local with the customers and share the business's story. But like you said, there is bookkeeping, accounting, production, all the things that go into these small businesses. So they have to be aware of their wholesale pricing and then potential retail pricing, so that way they can sell their products to the customers. You need to be ready for everything here at the State Fair. So in our store place, we do probably about 1/3 of our transactions are cash, but 2/3 are credit card. Tap to pay is really big right now. Apple Pay is really big right now. So making sure that you can process those transactions quickly to get the customers in and out of the store and purchasing more local products. Make sure you're always marketing to your customers, whether it's on your website, your social media. Tell the public where you're at and where to find you. People want to buy your products, but you need to make sure to communicate how to get a hold of where you're at and where your products are being sold. So make sure you share the message and share. On a personal note, I love working here at the Indiana Grown Marketplace because of all the small businesses we represent. I love seeing the small businesses grow and hearing success stories about how they might be working with Meijer or Kroger, getting their products into Amazon, but yet they started at a small business here in Indiana. So it's really, really great to hear those stories.
For more information on this and all of today's segments, visit our website. Just go to the QR code right now, scan it with your phone, it'll get you right there. Coming up next in Running Your Business Day to Day, Angela B. Freeman explains how intellectual property assignments are important, why you may need them.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome again. For several weeks now, we've been taking on some of the daunting but unavoidable legal challenges of running a successful business day to day. Angela B. Freeman returns with more tips for protecting your intellectual property, your IP, looking today at assignments.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
So I'm Angela Freeman. I am a partner at Barnes & Thornburg. I practice IP and patent law. And today we're going to talk about employment agreements and assignments. Previously, we talked about multiple facets of IP, including trademarks, copyrights, patents, and trade secrets. But today we're going to talk about something that is really important as related to IP, and that is making sure you as the business owner own your IP assets. In the United States, particularly patents, if someone is working for you, you're the business owner, and they develop something, the rights in that invention vest with the inventor, which is typically your employee. You as the business owner do not own those outright. And so you have to take an extra step to make sure you as the business owner and the business entity owns that. And that's what we call an assignment. And that's why it's so important. So assignments are can be facilitated in multiple ways, but basically the assignment is literally just the originator assigning or conveying their rights to the work, whether that's a trademark or an invention or whatever the case may be, to someone else. In this case, in the context of a small business, we're talking about an employee who has developed something, created something, assigning their rights to that work to you as the business owner. And that's very critical to make sure that you as the business owner own those rights. So an assignment can be a standalone document where it defines specifically what the work is, and that is getting assigned from one entity to the next. typically there has to be some consideration. Often we just say $1 because oftentimes, particularly when you're doing intra-company assignments, there's not real consideration being exchanged. And then there can be what I think is the most critical, which is an assignment statement in an employment agreement. So when you employ a new employee, when everyone's in love and everyone's excited that they're working for you and working with you, in that employment agreement that employee will sign needs to be a provision that indicates anything that they develop, create, make, etc. belongs to the business. That is the easiest way to negate an assignment issue that comes down the road if and when a disgruntled employee leaves the company, is not answering calls, won't sign documents, don't do anything. You can always revert back to that assignment in that employment agreement in order to make sure that any rights that in any works that employee created are truly assigned and owned by the business. That is one of the biggest things that I find that small business owners negate, or we're still hiring folks with a handshake, so there's not an employment agreement at all. And if you're doing that, you are missing this major issue. And the problem with that is if you go to sell any of these assets later, you don't actually own them in order to sell them. And oftentimes those type of issues are not identified until a merger and acquisition is happening. You're looking to either sell your business or someone's looking to acquire your business. And attorneys like me are going through the diligence of making sure that all your assets, all your IP assets are in proper form and good order. And we identify that, well, we don't see any place where, Joe Schmo assign their rights to this business and therefore you don't own it. And that can absolutely kill a merger and acquisition deal. So that's why assignments and employment agreements are so important. Yeah, I mean, basically when in the employment agreement or an assignment, standalone assignment, is typically specific, right? Anything you do in the context of your employment for us, we own. But yes, if you go out and you have specific knowledge and you have information that you've deemed in your employment, practice, but then you go out like, that triggered an idea, now I'm going to work on something third party. I think what you're talking about becomes a legal and factual consideration. It's really going to depend on the facts. How much information did they take from the employer to go do, third party business? If they truly did it on themselves and by themselves with their knowledge, the employer will have no rights to that. But if they're using particularly instruments, facilities, that kind of thing, then it becomes a issue for the employer to show that they used our stuff, they used our instrumentation, they used their, knowledge from and therefore we believe this actually, whatever they developed, we own, not they own. But that becomes, quite frankly, a real dispute. Like that will only be figured out based on the facts that are presented in court, and ultimately a judge and or jury will make that determination. It should be discouraged for employees, doing outside deals or making outside things that are truly related to what they're doing for the employer. That's going to get a little challenging at some point if whatever they're creating actually becomes, valuable in some way.
Up next, we share our conversation with an award-winning business-minded leader who is on a mission to enhance the learning experience for students and help them build pathways to careers.
Running your business day to day is made possible by Long John Silver's.
You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities. Brian Richardson Jr. is Associate Vice Chancellor for Administration and Community at Indiana University Bloomington. He joined us at the Indiana Black Expo Summer Celebration to look at his role and how schools are working to help students take solid steps into a career.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Hello, my name is Brian Richardson Jr. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for Administration and Community at Indiana University Bloomington. Stumbled there on the title because the title is so new. So new promotion, new opportunity to continue to do the work to focus on student success on the IU Bloomington campus. Within my scope of responsibilities, I have finance, human resources, assessment, marketing, communication, and all 6 of our culture centers on campus. We're trying to do as much as we can for Indiana Hoosiers, as well as any student that comes on our campus. Know that you have a home, you can find community, and then we're setting you up for life after college as well. I came back to higher education. I left for a little while, worked corporate, moved out here to Indianapolis, is doing work in the city. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from that experience is helping people really understand what are the skill sets that are going to help you transform your career moving forward, right? So how do you navigate life after college? What are the real skill sets that these companies and corporations are actually looking for? Now, to keep them here, I think we have to do a better job of really letting them know here are all the opportunities. I think we oftentimes look at some of the larger cities, your LAs, your Chicagos, Florida's, Texas. We got a lot of great things going on here. How do we tell the story? How do we get them to know that I can graduate and I can stay here? A lot of things are coming. Late industries are booming. A lot of attention right now is on the city of Indianapolis, state of Indiana. So I think if we can do more of telling the story of the great things that are happening here, which you all do a great job of doing that, so thank you for it. But I'm continuing to do my part as well of bringing those folks, those stories to our campus, putting our students there and making some of those connections for them, letting them know that if you have these interests, you don't have to venture out so far because we have them here. And if we don't, you have an opportunity where we can start those things. Well, it definitely is. I mean, every person has their own motivations for seeking employment or any opportunity. So I would never stand into in the path of a young person seeking, the monetary. Hey, if that's your goal, that's great. But let's talk about the other things with that, right? So what does workplace balance, or what does work-life balance look like? What does the happiness, fulfillment? Are you doing the work where you feel like, your mission or your goals or your purpose is in alignment with the job that you're doing? Or are you just collecting the check, right? Counting down the days to get away from that job, or counting down the hours before you go home. So, really talking to the students of, salary is one thing, but consider the other things that come along with the salary as well. Do you like the people that you're around, right? The organization and the work that you are doing, are you proud of that? Can you, tell your family about the work that you're doing? If you have kids, would your kids say, hey, my parents work here? And so I think it's a very complex conversation that we have to continue to have. But ultimately, really leaning into what are those things that you're going to value. And if money is that sole piece of happiness, I try to have a deeper conversation of, well, what else? Because money can't buy happiness. It can buy a lot of things. But there's so much more that's outside of just money. As I step away and I really look at what brings me the most value from the work, I take it from 2 perspectives. I think of the students who come in and say, Mr. Richardson, for the first time, I feel like, I have someone who's really helping me understand this stage of life, really taking the time to help me path out a plan and a path forward for where I want to go. Not acting as if I have all the answers, but willing to be a sounding board for them as they navigate their journey. I think the other piece is helping young professionals also navigate the journey. With a lot of things that's going on in the world, folks are really questioning, is this the right industry? Is this the right field for me? How do I show up in this space when there are decisions that are made that aren't in alignment with myself, right? So helping them kind of navigate those conversations, I've really sat back to say I'm in the right place at the right time.
Up next, we check back in with the founders and inventors of Nature's Tea Company to see how their small business has grown since we first met them 2 years ago. They are our Black Business Month success story. Welcome again. We are celebrating Black Business Month with a return to Nature's Tea Company. First introduced you to the business in December of 2023. group's made some big progress since then.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
I'm Lisa Gross with Nature's Tea Company. You are at Nature's Tea Company at 6210 La Paz Trail. So we had wonderful expansion here into our tea room. Reason we did the tea room is because, well, I took a little trip to Paris, and while I was there, I enjoyed a wonderful tea room experience. And when I came back, I mentioned to my business partner, Kevin Gross, that we need to do the same thing here in Indianapolis and have a tea room. We had the room to do it, and so we went ahead and launched it, and we've had great success with it. So if you want to book the tea room, all you have to do is go to our site, www.naturesteacompany.com, and there's a link there to click tea room. You can book it for a minimum of 3 hours, well, 2 hours. You can book it as an event room, a party room, a tea room, and you will have a lovely experience. We can book 68 people seated, up to 75 people total, and we put together a wonderful experience for you. You can have a tea experience. You can have any type of, we have over 70 different blends of teas that we can help you to experience tea extravaganza. We just really get into the healthy part of teas, and that's what our purpose is here for you. Whether you come into the tea room or you just step into our tea shop, we're here to actually help you to experience what teas can do for you. We're no longer the black and green teas from the days. We are a new generation of teas, and we really want you to experience that teas are no longer sugary sweet. Teas are really something you can enjoy. So those people out there that say, I don't drink teas, you don't drink teas because you haven't had our teas. We have the best darn teas you're ever going to swallow here in this house. So you need to come on down and enjoy our teas because they're really special for you. Oh, he offers a lot, because while I can blend some teas for you and I can put together fragrances and I have a beagle nose, as he says, he has to take my vision and he has to create it on a grander scheme. So I can make little bots of teas, but then he has to take them and make them big versions of teas. And that's how we actually collaborate and make this possible. So I'll take a background of a tea, and then I'll take the flowers and the different herbs and I'll blend them all together, and I make my own concoction of teas and make them unique to our store. So you can't get them anyplace else. They really are our own concoction of tea blends. And that's what makes us very unique than any other tea houses out there.
Well, if you were just speaking of like a tea house or a coffee house, or just making a few cups, it would have no interaction. However, because we have scaled and we produce these in bottles and ship them in different cities, it has to be prepared in a way that it would be safe for the consumer. So my experience in dealing with chemistry and how to make products safe so that the consumer gets a safe product, that really helps us scale our business. So these are more for taste, to compare with other brands in the market, kind of a grab and go situation, but teas themselves are great in antioxidants. So as opposed to drinking your sugary drinks that just give you a sugar high, our teas give you the antioxidants which help with your blood and all of that. So with the wellness teas, we make those to gear for people who are looking for a chronic way to improve their bodies. Acute care is hospitals, doctors. Chronic care is something that you've got, but you want to make it better over time. So drinking our teas or teas in general is more of a wellness walk. You're not going to get well tomorrow, you're not going to get well next week, but it's a way of continually improving your body. So we make wellness teas for sleep well, get up and go, inflammation, your heart, UTI flush. I mean, just think of anything that you could have that's an issue, but you don't necessarily want to either take medicine, but you want to do it naturally. We try to create different teas for that. We've been blessed to continue to grow, but with growth, you need materials. So these materials, the prices are changing. The availability is horrendous in some cases. And so like this bottle here, this is what I call the shareable size to this bottle. Beginning of January, when we decided we were going to launch that, we could get those bottles all day long. Right around April, they became not available. So now we have stores who we've launched the product, that are sitting with shelves that are either half full or not full at all because of the containers. Containers, whether it's the containers or the teas or the caps, even the dried fruits that we use. It seems like we might have one of one, but then we don't have this one. And then we might not have that one, but we have this one. And when you make all of this as a collaboration per bottle, it causes some strain on our business. Not to mention that we're paying more for these items than we thought we were going to pay when we thought about, launching these items. So this is an idea of Lisa to get into boba tea. So this one here is what we call Sweet Berry Burst. So it's got the strawberry boba at the bottom. And for those who don't know what boba is, that's the little balls with the flavor. So when you chew on those, you get that flavor. So it's strawberry boba, and this is our strawberry apple tea. And so that's our version of that one, and we do 3 or 4 different variations of this. I mentioned that we're now in 32-ounce size bottles, the shareable size. Today, we've made one of our favorites, which is purple berry, and you remarked that the color is great. And so this is the tea, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. And so with this, you can drink it hot, or you can have it cold. We are what we take in. And so if you start to take in teas, what's good about that, the antioxidants and the vitamins and all that, that just helps your body. And so you could choose to do that, and a lot of people have chosen that. Getting back to your point about people walking in, I'm telling you, it's nothing better like the person who was here before you came. She has some cough issues, and she has some sleep issues. So people don't necessarily just come here just because they want something cold and refreshing. Most of our customers come here because they have an issue or they're seeking help. And it's great that we're able to help these customers.
Our show airs every Sunday over the air on Wish TV, online at wishtv.com as well. We post each of our 7 weekly segments and entire shows on beoshow.com. Check out the extended conversations on the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast every week, and subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Lots of resources there. For this hour, thanks for spending some time with us. Join us next week for more Business Equity and Opportunities. Until then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business Equity and Opportunities is made possible by Bose McKinney & Evans, Eskenazi Health, Indy Biz Pass, Fifth Third Bank, Long John Silver's, and Lilly, a medicine company.